Welcome to Genius Cafe. We have Laura here to give a presentation for you during this Genius talk. This is Laura here. Welcome to Genius Cafe. And then during this session, there is a special discount for you. I think Mira have gave you the voucher, so please use it until this session finish. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the talk.
So you want me to use this? Okay, it's going to be quite coordinating. We'll see how it goes. So who's here for the talk? Yay! If you want to, you can scoot in a little. At least, you know. All right. So welcome to showing up for yourself today. It's pouring rain, and you showed up anyway. So anytime you engage in something like this, you're stepping into yourself and stepping into opportunity for yourself, which is the mindset of an entrepreneur. So what we're going to talk today about is the winning mindset of an entrepreneur and also developing a growth mindset. So when I ever want to know how anyone succeeded doing anything, I don't ask them, what did you do? I ask them, how did you think? Because your thinking is going to get you to where you want to go. Everybody can figure out the steps of what to do. You raise capital, you open a bank account, you get a CTO, but to figure out how the thinking is and the thinking that you need to have on a regular basis that's going to get you through those tough times, you've got to manage your mind first before you manage anything else. So it took a little bit of doing for me because I just know what I do. It would have been easier for me to just tell you stuff to do as opposed to how to think. So here we go. We've been having some difficulties with these. All right. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right. So the very first thing you have to do is believe that you can do it. Tiny little background on me. I didn't graduate from high school. I have no connections with any family members. I come from a chaotic household where there's addiction and chaos. And the success that I've had, if you look at typical why that should have happened, it shouldn't have happened. I started with $500 and I opened up a tiny boutique in Los Angeles that was the size of this, and I didn't know what I was doing, and everyone said that it would never work, and I grew that business to $1.1 million. Then I decided that I wanted to have a documentary film company. I knew absolutely nothing about documentary films. And I got a movie made. It was Discovery Times Channel, played for 5 years. I still today don't even know how to work a camera, much less this thing is my first time ever using a slideshow. And now I'm moving into the tech space, which is completely left field for me. I know absolutely nothing about it, and I'm making an app. How am I able to do all of these things when I can't even spell? I'm hopelessly dyslexic. I have no education and no funds. How did I do all of this? It was literally just from the way that I thought. The way that you think is more powerful than anything else you could possibly have. How do I begin? It seems so overwhelming. I'm going to make an app. Where does one begin? So I just want to take a moment and find out from you guys, who is thinking about something but hasn't even started? Just raise your hand. Who is in the middle of something and they already have a little traction on their project? And who is a serial entrepreneur like me, which means you fail many times and succeed many times and has done it over and over again? This is not your first rodeo, right? Okay. So it's good and bad, right? So how do I begin? I'm thinking about it, but I haven't done it. I'm halfway through, and I do it over and over again. The first thing you need to do is ask a compelling why. Because that why is going to get you through everything. When you're on your deepest, darkest hole, when you just want to give up, you have to go back to your compelling why. I want to start a nonprofit and I want to help shelter for dogs. Why? Because I want to stop suffering of animals. So when something really horrific happens and I can't go on, I go back to my why. Make sure before you do anything, how you begin is to write down your why. Why are you doing this? The how you will do it will come later. You don't need to have it figured out. I had no idea how to make a film. You don't. All you need to know is, one, you believe in yourself, you're going to do it, and two, your compelling why. The figuring out will all come later. So if you don't have a pen and paper, can I ask you to get one? They're up here. And I need you guys, we're going to take 5 minutes and write down something. So if you need it, there's pencils and papers here. And when you each have one, then I'll walk you through this process. Okay, everyone has one, right? So write down 4 titles. One is health, and leave some space. Lifestyle, relationships, purpose, and finances. Under each title, write down what you want to get out of these areas in your life. So this might have nothing to do, probably has nothing to do with your project, but write down what your values are and what's important to you in these areas of your life. You know, finances, I want to make sure that I never have to worry again. Health, I want to feel vibrant and radiant. Lifestyle, I see myself as a digital nomad, or I see myself based in one place and done by 6 o'clock every day. Just write down just fill in those pages. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. And if you don't finish it, don't worry, because we can come back to it. Okay, if you haven't finished, just set that down for a second. But it's really important to put those areas down if you want to be successful in what you're going to accomplish for your project. So now that we have these titles written down in these different areas of our life, now, this will be your guideline for everything that you do now. Ask yourself, does it fit into my values for my life? Does it fit into my vision for my life? If it does, continue. If not, then get rid of it and modify it till it does. Because you don't want to go down the path of a project and then it doesn't fit into the rest of your life. You want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for complete success so that you're taking care of these things ahead of time. And I'm going to go back and show you what I mean. I want to start a business, let's say, and I want to be a yoga teacher and take people on a yacht, right? I want to be out to sea and I want to have these retreats. Yes, that fits into my health, and what I think about is eating well and taking care of my body. It's a kind of lifestyle I want to live. I'm someone who doesn't work well in an office. It's great for me to be meeting people. I'm very social. Does it fit into my relationships? Well, I have a husband and a child, and how is that going to work when I'm off on a boat for 4 days? So I need to have a conversation with my husband and come up with a game plan of how that will work, as opposed to waiting for the time when I got the gig and I go off on the boat and the kid is crying and we haven't set up a game plan and he's got to work, and now I go off on the boat and I'm stressed with all of that. You want to handle everything ahead of time, and maybe that's not going to work for you, so you modify your plan until it hits every single areas of your life and it works. Does it fulfill my purpose? I've always wanted to help people. I feel by doing all these yoga trips, I'm going to be helping people, and that will my knowledge. That's her purpose. Finances. I actually don't think it's going to cover the finances for the kind of lifestyle that I want to live. I'm going to supplement that income by taking gigs when I'm not away and maybe teaching 2 classes a week at a yoga studio. So you want to set yourself up so these areas in your life work into your project, because you're not just your project, you're your whole life. And if you don't set yourself up and one of these things doesn't work, you don't want to be losing your relationship, because that's going to take you off track. You don't want anything to slow down your momentum. You want to keep going. Being an entrepreneur is hard enough as it is. That's why everybody doesn't do it. So you want to put everything in place to set yourself up for a win. So we've done that. We've done that. Okay, now what? Have a clear vision of where you want to go. But before you have a clear vision of where you want to go, you have to tell the truth about where you are. So when I wanted to start making my app, the truth is I know nothing about it. And here are all the areas that me and my business partner are lacking. So we wrote down all the areas and all the things that we didn't know how to do, and we knew that we had to feel that with other people. So tell the truth about where you are, have a clear vision of where you want to go, and then you can implement it. Write down your vision. Put it on display so you can see it daily. Tell people about it. Share it. Now be bold with it. Commit. It is your responsibility to choose the lens in which you view your life through. So put down your mission on your mirror. The first thing when you wake up in the morning, you see it in the bathroom. Put it on your refrigerator. Write it and put it inside of your purse. Put it inside of your wallet. Tell people about it. Share it. Be out there with it. The more people you tell about it, Susie Q, who wants to be on a yacht doing her yoga retreats, someone might say, I know someone who's looking for that, or I'm looking for that. Don't be shy about it. If you fail, who cares? People don't even remember for 5 minutes. Lots of times people don't want to share because what if I tell somebody and then I fail? You know what? You fail all the time if you're an entrepreneur, and nothing's lost. You've learned something along the way. Trust me. Adapting a growth mindset over a fixed mindset. So let's talk a little bit about that. I'm going to give you an example. Someone walks into a classroom and they studied really hard for a test, and they go and take the test, and then they finish the test and they find out they got a C minus, and they're really upset. Teacher doesn't like me. Why even bother? I spent so much time in it and it didn't work out anyway. So they go outside and it starts to pour rain. So now they're soaking wet, and their new dress is wet. Why does this always happen to me? It always happens to me. Then they walk to their car, and guess what? There's a ticket on it. It's pouring rain, got a C minus, there's a ticket on their car. Damn it. Why don't they make the signs better? It's not my fault. What the hell? This sucks. They go home. They can't stop thinking about how the teacher particularly hates them. But there's no reason why, they shouldn't have got the A instead of the C. They go to bed and they have a restless sleep because of this thinking. They wake up the next morning and they're still in a funk, and they're still carrying this with them. Then they get a phone call from their friend and says, would you like to come have some coffee? Sure. They meet their friend for coffee. And then they tell their friend what happened to them. Oh my God, the teacher hates me. I got a C and I studied so hard. I got soaking wet in the rain. I got a parking ticket. And now they've just dumped and vomited all over their friend. Instead of having a lovely afternoon and a great coffee, now they've just put out more horrific energy out there. And so who is that hurting? It's hurting themselves, and it's hurting their relationships. So a growth mindset, it's not that you love everything that happens to you, but let's take you through the same scenario. I go in the classroom, I take the test, I get a C minus. Damn, this sucks. I got a C minus. Well, the truth of the matter is I really didn't study as good as I could have. I didn't put in the time. I knew it ahead of time that I didn't. This teacher has so much to offer me, and there's so much to learn from this. I'm going to get an A next time. I'm going to use this as an opportunity, and I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to check myself, and I'm going to challenge myself, and I'm going to get an A. So they've already got a different mindset. They've already got a different energy about them. They walk outside, and it's still pouring wet, and the rain gets all over them. Damn, okay, this just sucks. They go to their car, they get a ticket. What? $75 ticket? Get inside the car, wipe themselves off, look up and go, it clearly says no parking on Wednesdays. I was in such a rush to get here, and I hate it when I'm in a rush. I'm not going to set myself up that way anymore. In the future, I'm going to take my time, and I'm going to give myself a half an hour to get someplace extra. So I'm not rushed and frazzled. I can read and see what's happening. I can walk into the classroom and take the test in a calm manner. They use every single thing that happens to them as a learning experience, as an opportunity and a way to grow, and as a challenge for themselves. Instead of letting it bring it down, they learn from it. That is, as an entrepreneur, a growth mindset is so incredibly important, because when you're trying something new, you're going to fail all the time. So you have to develop that. You have to have strong resilience. Whoops, I don't know what happened to that. Okay, so then she goes to sleep, and she sleeps beautifully. She wakes up in the morning, and everything is great, and her friend calls and says, let's have a cup of coffee. She goes to meet her friend for a cup of coffee, and she says, I really got a C minus on that test, but Karen, I want you to hold me accountable. I'm going to get an A, and I'm telling you that next time I take that test, I'm going to get an A. So she's energized, and she's empowered, and her friend is inspired, and they have a lovely afternoon. That's the difference. That's the kind of thinking that you want to have. So, whoops. This went way forward. Okay, so A, a fixed mindset lets outside forces determine their self-worth. They often think things happen to them, a victim mentality, which leaves them powerless. B, a growth mindset uses outside forces as a way to learn from, as an opportunity to grow. They are ready to take risks, confront challenges of life, and keep working, which leaves them feeling powerful and excited about the challenge. So you want to set your day up for yourself. Every successful entrepreneur, every successful human being sets their day up. I like to start with a cold shower. Cold showers are incredibly good for the nervous system. It resets and cleanses you from the night before. Sikhs and gurus and masters have been doing this for ages. If you're ever really in a funk and something horrific happens to you and you don't have the time, splash your face with water. It'll change your vibration. Or take a cold shower, jump in the pool. It's incredible. Meditate to clear your mind from any residue from the day before. Start with the 11-day meditation. If you don't meditate, take a silent walk and don't take your phone with you. Anything that has happened the day before, you don't want to bring it into the next day. You want to make sure that you have a clear lens to look through your life and to look at your project with. So if I wear glasses and they get smudged, and then I don't clean them, and then the next day they're smudged and smudged and smudged, and before you know it, I'm making a decision without real vision. I don't have a clear, straight lens to look through. So you don't want to be looking through anything distorted, especially with what you guys are trying to accomplish. You need all the vision that you have. So I invite you to use some sort of meditation to help you with that. Think of the kind of energy that you want to have that day. A neutral mindset is the best place to make decisions. If I'm going to go and do a TED Talk at a junior school, I need to have energy that day. I need to have patience that day. I need to feel set myself up for the questions that these teens are going to ask me, because it's a different kind of mindset of a teenager than it is an adult. So if you have a big pitch meeting, you want to make sure that you're grounded, that you're in a neutral place, that you're in a place of power. Don't just walk into your day without a plan. Set your thinking up for what you need that particular day. Move your body. It's important. Every single day, people are living to be 100 years old. You want to do it and be like, enjoy it. So move your body, especially all of us who sit at laptops for hours upon hours upon hours. It's important to stretch into our body gloves every day and put good food in your body. Good food in your body will take you a long, long way. All these things, there's nothing I'm saying that I'm reinventing the wheel. But what's important to listen to is that it starts to just penetrate and become part of you. Obviously, I've never worked one of these in my life, or a microphone. What if I get stuck, right? It's not if you will get stuck, it's when you will get stuck. Everybody gets stuck. So when that happens, remember that I said, oh yeah, she said this was going to happen. Go back to your compelling why. The first thing you do is go back to your purpose. Why the hell am I doing this anyway? I really want to stop suffering of animals on the planet. What will my life look like if I give up right now? How will my life look in a year from now if I stick with it? Have you ever went to the gym and you saw someone who was not in the best shape and you were even better shape than they were, and then you didn't stick with it, and you come back 6 months later and they're in yoga class and they're ripped and they're flexible, and you're like, damn, if I had stuck with that, I would have looked like that. So what would you look like if you don't stick with it? What purpose does this fulfill for me daily by doing this project? When I decided to do the app, what purpose it fulfilled for me daily is I wake up passionate every day. I met so many people that I never, ever would have met in a million years. I'm learning so many things that in my entire life, if you would have told me as a fashion boutique owner that I would be talking to development people, it just opens up a whole new world for you. So if I die tomorrow, or if my app fails, look at the life that it's giving me now. So it doesn't really matter. Get to know yourself and what inspires you. Is it working out, going for a walk? Is it a meeting? Is it meeting a friend? Find out what tools work for you. So if I'm really, really discouraged and down, and I know I can't get up off the sofa, and I feel like I have no energy to do something, for me personally, I'll throw in a Tony Robbins YouTube and I'll watch 3 back to back. Sometimes I need to call the friend who's going to have my back and say, Laura, you've got this. Have your own tools in your toolbox ahead of time, again. Because have you ever went to a restaurant and you waited so long and you're so hungry, and then by the time you get there, when the menu's there, you can't even make a decision because you've already passed that point. So it's the same thing. When you're already in that state of being stuck, you want to have a toolbox that you can go, oh yeah, I know, I like Tony Robbins, or I know Karen's going to get me out of it. So fill up your toolboxes. Sometimes you just need to take a break. Sometimes that is absolutely the best thing to do. Go to a booth for 2 days, don't speak to a soul, order a pizza and binge watch Netflix. And usually when I do that, that happens to me quite often, it's the best possible thing. Usually by the end of the time, the problem that I've been trying to work out, somehow the solution just kind of flies in my head. Or I kind of miss what I was doing after 2 days in a booth, and I want to get back to it. That negative, quiet space is when your brain can have a chance to recoup and just let it naturally fall in. It's important to take advantage of that. Habits of a growth mindset. You have to believe in yourself even when the evidence may look hard. So I was doing everything like a homeless person with a shopping cart that I found on the street. I was running around getting supplies. I didn't have money to rent a car. Then they asked where I was staying, and I was staying at a hostel up the street, which was quite far. They said, oh, screw that, and they put me in a hotel room. By the end of the shoot, they offered me a full-time position working in the documentary film company. That's committing, that's not knowing what you're doing, and that's just showing up anyway. So believe in yourself when there's no evidence. Discipline, discipline, discipline. It's the most unsexy word, and it's the thing that you need all the time. As an entrepreneur, no one's going to tell you that you need to stay and finish that report, that you need to do your pitch deck, that you need to get your ROIs done. You have to have that discipline. When all your friends are going out and they're having sunset drinks and you're staying there and you've missed it like, a month in a row, it doesn't matter. If you want to down the road, you'll be on a yacht having sunset drinks. So you're in charge of your discipline. Be responsible for your self-talk. You want to start to listen to how you talk to yourself. Why does this always happen to me? Do you want to tell the universe that? I'm so tired. Even saying that makes me tired. Everything's so hard. You don't want to speak like that to yourself. You want to give yourself the most possible edge as you can. So listen to how you talk to yourself. Be grateful. Look at all the things that you do have, not what you don't have. So when I had my boutiques and they were incredibly successful, I went and speak one-on-one coaching sessions with my guru, which just means teacher, and he was a Sikh. And after listening to me bitch about my staff and my store, he said, Laura, you have the same complaint every single time. I want you to be grateful for what you do have and what it does give you. Do you have a beautiful home you live in? Yes. Well, your staff is working for you that you're bitching about. Are you off in Bali or off in Europe having a great time? Yes. Look at what it does give you and appreciate that. Focus on what things are positive, not the negative things, or it'll disappear. Put countless hours of work in, more than you think it will take and longer than you think. Put in the time. So all I wanted to do is come and talk to you guys. And they're like, hey, Laura, do you want to speak? Sure, I'm up for a challenge. But even to get to speak to you, what am I going to talk about? I have to write down an outline. I have to do a slideshow. Just before you even begin something, there's a lot of work that you have to do. So just know that you need to work more than you think you do, and things take longer than you probably think. But it's okay. That's just temporary. When you're doing your startup, that's how it is. But then it starts to have momentum. Celebrate the wins. So my business partner and I decided that we had a personal goal to do a mock of our app before Christmas. We worked 60 days straight from 8 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. We go-jacked our food and we didn't have a lunch break. We decided we got foot massages while we were on our laptops. We never left. We took meetings on the sofa. People came to us, and we did that for 60 days. It was exhausting. It was hard. It was fun. It was everything. Then one day before we were going to vacation, we did this all so we can pitch this one partner. 5 seconds while we're on the phone, we're still loading the last pitch deck, and we can't get. I'm like telling my partner, forget it, don't worry. He's like, no, it's going in there, and we got it down to the wire. The camera didn't work, so we were just speaking to him on a conference call, and music to our ears, he said, would you like to partner with us? And we were like, and my partner said, well, that's the worst thing you've ever said to me. And we're over here like, he can't see us, and we're kicking, and we're just yeah, so happy. For the 60 days, we never did anything. He said, do you want to go and have a drink? Should we have a couple of glasses of wine? I'm like, hell yeah. We went, we had a couple of glasses of wine, and he said, we're going to get a bottle of wine. We're not going to get the champagne. When we get our $3 million, we'll buy the champagne. Celebrate the wins. You start to train your brain that even though you did 60 hours of work, look at the payoff. You start to have that, you start to understand, and your brain starts to say, I'm getting it. Make your reward system about things that you're proud of instead of things that are complaining and pity party. Have a sense of humor. Don't take it all so seriously. There were times my partner and I would be rolling on the floor laughing like, what the hell are we doing? Yeah, we're making $1 million app. That's ridiculous. And we're like, yes, it's absolutely ridiculous. Have a sense of humor about it. Whoops. What one thing can I do that if I did would make everything else easier or unnecessary? What one thing can I do that if I did would make everything else easier or unnecessary? If I build my website, I could start to get the word out about my services, product, etc. If they moved to a more peaceful household, I would not waste energy and time, and I can focus more on my project. If I took a second job for 6 months, I would get out of debt, and that would free me up emotionally and financially. If I just complete my MVP instead of the whole app, I can start getting users immediately. Find out what the one thing is and do that. So for us, it was we needed to do our MVP. So when we looked at all the possibilities, that was the thing we needed to do. Then I can move over to the move or the website. But start with that one thing, because that's going to make everything else in your life easier. How do you measure success? Is it how you feel? Is it in money? Is it in self-expression? Is it taking care of your family? Is it self-respect? Decide what defines value for you. What do you deem success to be, and make that your measuring stick. For me personally, it's how I feel. If I wake up in the morning and I like what I'm doing and I'm passionate about it and I feel creative and I feel self-expressed, I don't care. I'll take a pay cut to feel that way. Some people, it's about self-expression. They're a musician, artists. They need to express themselves creatively, and the money isn't that important. Other people, it's the money, baby. The more money, the more that's my measuring stick for me. Define what it is for you. You be the judge. It's your life. Takeaways. Know your compelling why. You're responsible for the lens in which you view life. Discipline. Cultivate a growth mindset. Be grateful for what this purpose, project, or dream is giving you. Whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right. It's up to you. Thank you for investing in yourself today, because showing up, you just have to show up in life. You just show up and show up and show up and show up and show up. I don't know if there's anything there. Nothing there. For private sessions and coaching, for strategy, self-improvement, I'm pollinator.coach, and those are my details. So is there any questions? Yes. It is travel information. It's new technology. It's using virtual reality, and it's not out in the market yet, so I can't say too much more than that. But it'll be the test market will be here in Bali, and then we'll roll it out to the rest of the world. Yep.
So first in the chart, the last chart that you said, what is the one thing? There was one part move. What move meant for you? So my other question is about from your last businesses to the other. Did you left the other businesses and starting a new one, or you managed to be very ahead of the last businesses and put the hours for the new one? What did you do with the last one?
Okay. So move just meant that if one of the options was to move the household to get out and move to a new place that was more peaceful, that was something that I could do. But it was more important for me to make my MVP than to make the move right now, because moving takes time, right? So you just figure out what is the most important part and do that. When I did my boutique, I also did my films. So I would do one film a year, and you open up a boutique a year, and it got to be quite a lot. And so eventually, I ended up finishing with the documentaries, and so I had boutique and documentaries at the same time. And then I enjoyed actually the boutique more, so then I stopped doing the documentaries. And then for the app that I'm doing now, I have none of those businesses anymore, and I had them for 19 years. Now I had a boutique in Ubud for 5 years, and now I'm just doing the app. That's all I'm doing. So it's really, I think it's better to just choose one thing and do that one thing, because it's just easier to manage, unless it's something that's not that overwhelming. For example, I can coach, and that's on my own time, right? If I want to take a session, I take a session, and I love like giving back. Nothing makes me happier than seeing other people like walk their own road, have their own vision, right? But that doesn't stop me from also being able to do my app. So you have to put it in a matrix and see how it will work for you. Any other questions? Question? All right. Well, thank you. I'm so happy that was over. This is my first time ever speaking. My first time doing this, or using a mic, or using this. So you constantly have to challenge yourself, right? Put yourself out there and like, woo, celebrate the wins. This is perfect. Thank you.